Yo, yo, yo. Happy 420, y'all. Welcome to another episode of Cultural Cannabis. I am your host, Ja. And today, I really wanted to get into with y'all about my first time smoking weed. Well, what age, everything that really got me kicked off to smoking weed. I'm sorry, I'm a little bit, I didn't get a chance to smoke yet. And tell you, man, last episode I did my sports take on the NBA hoops, man. I'm a little tired. Like I said, I've been kind of busting all day today. But the show must go on, right? So if I can find my trusted lighter, we can get this we can get this story time together. If you give me a second. Now what end I'm gonna light it from? What end do y'all usually light your blunts? Like do y'all I try to make sure there's at least a little small part of the end so I can smoke mine out and stuff like that. I like backwoods, but today I didn't really get a backwood. Normally I'll get a cone. I remember I started off with a gang blue. And when I tell you I smoked, the first time I ever smoked, I had to go in the bathroom and I looked in the mirror. And like, bro, I thought I was an old man. I had like a fucking bald spot in the middle of my head and shit. I was freaking out. I remember I was at this party. I was getting tore the fuck up. I mean, so I had to drink a little bit, but then, there was some like, we about to start smoking weed. We about to keep, about to get this shit going. I'm like, I was about 16. I don't know. I remember I smoked much earlier. I smoked at probably 10, but it was weed, but I didn't really know. That was my first time smoking. But as far as, so I was 16, 17 at this party, chilling out. Oh, hey, we're gonna go nuts. So 14, 15 maybe. And I was like, hey, we're chilling out, but I go, chill out. I was like, I'm drinking a little bit, hitting a beer, playing a little beer pong, getting a little fucked up here and there. And you know, so my homeboy was like, hey man, you smoke weed? And I'm like, nah, I heard it, I'm like, nah, I haven't done it in a while. He was like, come on, come smoke with us. And for context clues, y'all, I'm black, but I got a multicultural of friends. So it's just like, you know, these are my white homies, my white boys. It was like, we got the gang, boom. They started filling that bitch up with weed. And I remember looking at it, like, weed back in the day, back in the 2000, the early 2000s, that shit won't, that shit was strong. This weed today ain't got shit on the weed back in the day. But anyway, which end, bro, this is one end has like straight purple out of it and the other end is just like another color. Like, I don't know which end, I'm gonna let the purple end first. It's okay, y'all, I let the purple end. But anyway, what was I saying? But yeah, so they rolled the blue. That shit was fat. That blunt was fat as a motherfucker. So I'm around y'all. I just had, I had a couple drinks already. So boom, hit the weed, start smoking. Boom. We got a whole fucking cipher going around in this room, right? And I'm thinking, it's like six of us. I remember there's just one blunt and we like chilling. Like there's a couple couches in there. Kept a whole bar beside me. You know, you, my homegirls over there and also, and my homegirls and my homeboys, females at the time, who they were dating with or fucking with, I don't, so we passing. That shit get back to me. Hit that shit, puff, puff, pass, nigga. The next thing I know, as soon as I passed that first blunt, nigga, it was another motherfucking blunt. I can't, you can't see right now, but if I was like, so as I was passing one blunt and I was like getting my hand back to kind of like, mess with my hair a little bit, there was another blunt literally being thrown into my fucking hand and we're just smoking. And when I tell you, I got so fucking, like, I got high. So after I smoked, I was like, done. I'm tapping out. My throat's all fucked up. I'm not drinking no water and shit. So I go to the bathroom. I shit you not. Don't y'all hate it when somebody hit a goddamn blunt? And when they hit that motherfucker, that shit be sparking like fucking logs in a fucking fire pit. That shit just crack, crack, snap, crackle, and pop like that fucking Frosted Rice Krispies ice cream. Anyway, I digress. So boom, I go in the bathroom. the water on my face and shit like that. Oh, man. Whew. I look up. No shit. No lie to y'all. No lie to y'all. I look. I'm glad I lit it from the purple end. I look. I had I had the oval of doom. Like Pac-Man took a chomp out of my motherfucking head. Boom. And it was just, and it was like a fucking wraparound porch with the hair at. Man, I freaked out so goddamn bad. And I was like, bro, I would never try weed again. And I was smoking. Yeah. I couldn't stop, my boy. I couldn't stop. I kept smoking. I wasn't gonna stop. I love weed too goddamn much. I did stop briefly though. I got a job in a shipyard, and of course your piss has to be clean. So I went a year or two without smoking marijuana. And let me tell y'all, that was some of the stressful times of my life. And it was like I'm working at the shipyard. I was a helper, and I became an apprentice. And then around the same time, I had a baby on the way, and like there, I wish during that time I smoked. I was very lost in that time. I didn't know what the fuck a nigga was doing. I didn't know if I was here, there, coming or going. I didn't know what the fuck I was doing during that time. But that was a difficult time. But yeah, after those couple of years, I was still in the yard, and I was like, you know what, fuck it, I'm just gonna smoke. And I started smoking, and I started calming down, but I was still angry. Like what I've noticed over my life, I'm 33 years old, and I'm able to come to terms with like, yeah, I may call it an addiction or whatever, but to me, marijuana is a way for me to reach my inner peace, helps me address the issues that I don't want to, that sometimes I can't address if I wasn't. You know what I'm saying? Like some people don't like hearing shit about themselves. People who really don't like hearing shit about themselves are sober potheads. You can either believe me or you can fucking just boo me off. But sober potheads are some of the people with the most worst attitudes. But they're not normally. We're not normally snapping off for no reason if we haven't smoked. We're calm. We'll talk to it and everything. But the little slightest inconvenience, like a motherfucker pulling up on me, then maybe here's a row. But yeah, but I believe if I was like smoking it consistently during that time, other stuff would have been different. But yeah, so I kept smoking weed. Had you know, I've always had this love of weed, but it's just like I never knew why. And it's just like when I hear other people talk about weed, they using it as an escape, and I'm just like, I can't escape. I'm not trying to escape from anything. I'm trying to look at stuff from a different perspective. I'm trying to already have that fuck it in my system. I'm having a good day in my back pocket. Shit. You know what I mean? That's what weed does for me. And like, I don't ever see myself quitting. I don't ever see myself stopping. If you don't like it, then fuck off. But this is my show. This is called cultural cannabis for a reason. Cause we talk about smoking weed out here. I'm gonna be forever be a smoker. I intertwine that with activities that I do in my life. I'm not a bad father. I'm a pretty great dad. It's stuff that I could work on, but weed doesn't hinder that part of me being a dad to my 4 kids. It doesn't knock me off of my job. I feel like I do pretty great at my job. Probably be a beast if I was under the influence, but can't do that. What else? It's a lot of things that it has helped me out with. And it's just like, I don't, I get high, but I don't get to blitz to the point to where I'm just like, oh my God, I'm just like, no, I haven't been that way in a minute. And as a professional stoner, like, man, maybe that's fun every once in a while, but sometimes you just like to chill. Sometimes you like to kick back, watch the shows. Maybe you do what I do. You podcast, I podcast. I get high as fucking come on these podcasts and talk to y'all because I love doing it. It's a great therapy for me. And like I said before, I can't wait for people to come up here, but I digress from the point. This is This is me talking about, weed. And, I told you how I got introduced to it. And through my daily activities in life, it does not hinder me whatsoever. I'm not perfect. I still got things I have to work on as a man. I still have traumas I need to clean up and cut around the edges on, you know what I mean? But yeah, the best thing about weed to me is that when I was so the thing about that shocks me about weed now, about how people are accepting of it now, because back in the day, like they looked upon that shit like that shit was like crack cocaine. I'm like, bro, you ain't snorting powder, man. This is from the earth. This is the Lord's stuff. But you know how people look at things from now and again. But I know y'all heard me do that long, strong ass puff in my strong ass lungs. That's why I can't match with a motherfucker. I mean, I'll match with my homeboy Kai, my nigga out there doing his music thing. I can't wait to get his ass up here. I know I haven't talked to him in a minute, but I see him. He's still doing this thing, and big ups to my nigga Kai. Um, but yeah, but it doesn't distract me from my daily day. I can drive and be fucking high, and motherfuckers won't fucking tell. It's gotten to a point to where it no longer really induce munchies in me. I fast anyway, so it's like it's a very people get munchies when they smoke, but it helps me concentrate and keeps me focused on the goal. What else? My kids know that I smoke reefer. I smoke weed. Like I said, it doesn't hinder my relationships with them. They are very knowledgeable about it. You know, I showed them what a sativa is, what does sativa do for daddy, and what does that indica do for daddy. They know sativa daddy's gonna be jumping around, hitting flips, hitting cartwheels, and all that shit, all the above. They know as soon as daddy hit the indica, I'm in the couch. I'm not getting up. I'm not going anywhere. DoorDash is your best friend. DoorDash is what we got in the fridge, refrigerator, or freezer to eat. And also my relationship with my wife, it doesn't affect that whatsoever. I loved it when we first got together, we smoked, but I'm gonna get her back to smoking again. You know, I'm gonna get her back. I'm gonna get her back to doing it because she's a very elevated spirit. She's even without the weed, she's a very elevated spirit. High frequency, great smile, great personality, great everything. I love you, baby. I love you, Sarah. But anyway, plus I find you find more of a deeper and friendlier community in the weed community. Like people are just loving. I mean, you have loving people in every community, but for me, being me, the weed community has always embraced me with open arms. And I embrace everybody who embraces the weed community with open arms. It's just that kind of a family type thing. I didn't tell y'all what I was smoking on earlier. Or what I'm smoking on now. It is called Pheno Salad. I got it in a Dutch Fusion, OG Fusion. I get like a nug of it left. I got to re-up some. Speaking of, damn. Speaking of re up, hopefully the Weed for Warriors have another drop soon. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, they look out for the vets and stuff like that. They really take care of their vets. There's real need to take care of our vets better. Our vets are the reason why we have the freedoms that we have. And, I'll get that on another episode. My veterans, I love y'all. Y'all put y'all lives, y'all body, everything on the line so we can walk and be free and have a freedom of speech, no matter who is sitting behind the desk and how much he wants to limit people because he don't like the way that people talk about him. But anyway, yeah, vets, I love y'all. We for Warriors, I love y'all. My stoner community, I love y'all. My people across the water, I love y'all. My people in the States, I love y'all. 420. Shout out to Bob Marley. I started listening to Bob Marley when I was young, but I didn't really let anybody know that I was listening to Bob Marley because, I was in church a little bit and the church looked like they frowned upon that. But now I see that, Bob Marley Me listening to him was him planting the seeds for the roots, which is me planting the seed for the tree that I am today that's bearing fruit in the Rasta universe. I've, I found a lot of peace in myself. I'm not that angry black man. I don't feel the need to be that. I don't have a chip on my shoulder no more. All I want to do is just go out, get it, and have my children and my wife live the life that they deserve, and their children, and then the people with me as well. And to me, cannabis is a real place point for a lot of people to agree on. I feel like if they had cannabis and the government, people wouldn't be like this, you know. But a lot of people don't smoke. Even if you don't ingest cannabis or anything like that, cannabis shouldn't be a reason why using cannabis shouldn't be a reason why you're a good person. You should be a good person because you're a good person. Cannabis really helps me think past the stress that's on me. Help me notice little things that are going good in my life. I have a beautiful family, like I was just talking about. I'm not homeless. If I have a little bit, I give a little bit here, a little bit here. You know, my family know how I am. But yeah, I know I jumped around. This whole thing was just about why, not just why, but how I started smoking weed and how it goes through my daily life and daily routine. And, I love it. I don't see myself quitting. I ever quitting. My kids, if my kids ever get into it, I hope that they do. Even if they don't smoke it, the study of it, because the herb heals. The herb heals your mind, heals your body, heals your soul, heals your spirit. It helps raise your vibrations. And that's why they want to legalize it, because they don't want any more woke people out there. And also hemp that is derived from herb is a great textile and rope and paper amongst other things. And herb has been known to cure diseases, and able to calm down like Parkinson's and stuff like that. It has so many unique benefits that they want to shut it down because it's a uniquely beneficial type thing. It helps out, it kills it. It takes away pain. It gets rid of that nastiness inside of you. And it's not just on a physical level, it's on that spiritual level as well. So you have to remember that. But yeah, this is your boy Jaw signing off. Y'all have a happy 420. I love y'all. I'm going to try to finish the rest of this blunt, carry my ass to bed, and I'll holler at y'all later. Peace. One love. God bless y'all.